might be forgiven to compare the latest holidays of Tishrei to a city bus. You wait hours for even one to arrive, and then 3 of them come at once. 3 holidays in as many weeks. Wouldn't it be nicer if they were a bit more spread out? And honestly, why is Sukkot celebrated now? Doesn't this holiday commemorate how God protected us in the Sinai desert right after the nation of Israel left Egypt? It should be on the calendar right after Pesach, and not now. The Kabbalists use the following passage, taken from Shir Hashirim, the Song of Songs, to describe these past few weeks. Smoiloi tachas l'roishi, v'yeminoi techapkeni. God's left arm is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. Head, of course, refers to Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, concluding with Yom Kippur. And Sukkah is the hug, the embrace. Study after study prove that the most effective method to show love is not a warm word or a kiss or a pat on the head, but rather a warm embrace, a hug. A baby yearns for its parents' loving embrace. This is something they subconsciously retain their entire lives and are forever traumatized if it was lacking. Our Sukkah is that hug. The Jewish people left the horrible experience of Egypt as the nation was in its infancy, a mere baby, and God hugged them and totally embraced them. We then felt secure enough and were able to grow as a nation. But you will ask, a sukkah? Isn't it very flimsy? Doesn't the roof leak? Is that the best God can do? And yet we call this Zman Simchasenu, the time of our rejoicing? The answer is yes. Sukkah strips away all the externalities and imagined anchors that we so rely on. And then we come to realize that those things are more transient and fragile than we thought. Sukkah symbolizes complete and utter trust. We transfer our dwelling on Sukkos, physically and psychologically, to a diras arai, a temporary shelter, in order that we may finally realize that it is not our solid roofs or large sturdy houses or worldly possessions that ultimately protect us. Rather, it is Hashem, the Holy One, blessed be He. He protects us, He guides us, as individuals, as a nation. The ultimate source of security is God. He is our permanence. This brings contentment. This is true happiness. The legendary Chassid Mendel Futterfass spent years in the Soviet Gulag for the terrible crime of keeping the torch of Judaism alive during those terrible times. Nevertheless, he tried to do as many mitzvahs as he could. One day he was seen collecting pieces of wood and hiding them behind the barracks. A fellow Jewish prisoner asked him, "Remendel, what are you doing?" Remendel said, "In a few weeks at Sukkos, I'm building a sukkah." To which his fellow retorted, "Here? In Siberia? You're going to build a sukkah? Are you out of your mind?" To which Remendel calmly replied, "When I'm in my sukkah, I'm not in Siberia anymore." When we enter the sukkah tonight, after such a tough few months, we won't be the same person. We are leaving behind the grind and temporal externalities and cozying into God's embrace, truly rejoicing in a divine hug. I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom and a Chag Sameach.